grandfather was brought here with chains round his legs and neck. They said he poisoned some sheep. For 10 sheep he was held for 5 years.
Maroochy Barambah, performing the role of Miriam in the award-winning modern opera Black River. This role has given Maroochy a place in Australian operatic history by making her the first Aboriginal to perform in an Australian opera.
As an Aboriginal person living in white Australia, most Aboriginal people would think it might not be possible, you know. But it happened that Andrew and Juliet wrote that Black River, and I got the chance to play the part. So I'm just this is just a beginning. I hope more parts will come for me, and hopefully more Aboriginal people can get involved if they want to get involved in. Racial origin shouldn't have determined whether you should or shouldn't be involved in a particular form of arts.
It is also the first role in an Australian opera written specifically for an Aboriginal singer.
When we were given this opera, lots of people said to us, but you can't produce that because there's no Aboriginal who can sing it, and you couldn't possibly have a white girl in the role. And we just said, well, it's an important piece, we're going to do it no matter what. And then we found an Aboriginal singer. And now, because of that, I've commissioned a piece to travel to schools next year, which has been written specifically for Maroochy, because unless we write pieces, there won't be the work. Maroochy, who takes the role of Miriam, is very Aboriginal. Her performance is very Aboriginal. It's not a girl who happens to be black being an opera singer. The whole point of her performance, really, is that it is so culturally different to the other 4 characters, that she's so strikingly different. And that's where the power comes from.
Scored by Andrew Schultz with the libretto by his sister Julianne, Black River is based on Julianne's experience as a journalist covering the Human Rights Commission inquiry into the Toomela race riots.
The original idea goes back to 1987, when, for various reasons, I'd been contemplating the idea of a one-act opera. And my sister Julianne, who eventually wrote the libretto, had been involved in writing a report on Toomela, the race riots there, for the Human Rights Commission. And a number of things came together: the background to deaths in custody, the need to write a one-act opera, a strong interest from both of us in the political issues surrounding that, I guess mixed with some personal political sentiment concerning the bicentennial. A number of things then came together with the possibility that this provided the basis for a very dramatic piece of theatre, as well as making some sort of political statement.
How political is Black River?
Well, it's political in the sense that it's dealing with a current issue, which I guess is unusual for an opera. It's political also in that the issue is dealt with in a fairly direct, open way. There's no shying away from dealing directly with the issue that's at stake.
Did you help him tie up the laces, Les? Did you help him climb up to the top of the window? Did you hold him till it was time for him to hang, Les? Or did he do it all by himself?
It is quite unusual for Australian opera to tackle contemporary social and political issues, but even more unusual for an opera to tackle the controversial subject of Aboriginal deaths in custody.
Normally opera deals with love and death and vengeance and those sort of personal stories. And while of course this is a personal story, it's just very, very current, it's very contemporary, and that is unusual.
The fact that Black River deals with Aboriginal issues is, in Maroochy Barambah's view, an important turning point for Australian opera.
It's the first. I think it's very important. I kind of put it along similar lines to like Porgy and Bess as a Black American piece, you know, of opera. this is an Australian piece, well, it incorporates Black Australian content. So I think it's very important. But it's the beginning. Hopefully more things will be written in the future.
This place is bad, but you cannot know how bad. I know it's in my bones.
Karen Bonchek reporting. Black River is being staged with Bamboo Flute, another modern Australian one-act opera. Now to news of business, finance and the economy, including major changes to Qantas. Here's